Hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name's Kiara Simmons-Wood, and I am the Events Planning and Marketing Coordinator at Charity Digital. I'm going to be your host for today's session and would like to give you all a very warm welcome. So today's session on how to market fundraising events will be delivered by Aura Ruth, our Head of Marketing here at Charity Digital. And in this session, we will share tips for how charities can boost participation and support for their fundraising events, whether it's a fun run or a live stream. Now, just before handing over to Aura Ruth, I just wanted to share a few house rules, some exciting updates, and some pointers for today's session. So firstly, I'm very excited to let you know about Charity Digital's new single sign-on function. Charity Digital currently has two separate websites to deliver our services. The website that is dedicated to our content, which is where you would have registered for today's webinar, and Charity Digital Exchange, which is our transactional website dedicated to product purchasing, discounts, and validation services. Registering for both websites is completely free, and you can now access the Exchange website with your original Charity Digital login credentials. And you can contact us via email, phone, or live chat if you have any questions. I'll shortly share those in the chat. Now, on to today's webinar. So the session is currently being recorded and will be uploaded to watch on demand within a week's time. The slides and other resources will also be made available to you by the end of the day. And closed captions are available, and I will shortly share in the chat how to enable these. During the webinar, please ask lots of questions in the Q&A section for Aura Ruth to address at the end of her presentation, and feel free to share any other comments, experiences, or top tips in the chat section. If there's a particular question in the Q&A section that you'd like answered, you can also upvote questions asked by other participants. Finally, if you encounter any sound or image issues, please let me know in the chat, and I'll do my very best to get the session back to normal as soon as I can. Now, without further ado, let me hand over to Aura Ruth.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you very much, Kiara, for that very warm welcome, and welcome to everybody who has joined us today. As Kiara mentioned, my name is Aura Ruth Rother. I am the recently appointed Head of Marketing at Charity Digital, and it is my privilege to actually be hosting this first webinar. Couple of random facts to break the ice. I am a petrol head. I am a Formula One fanatic, and my bucket list is to actually travel the world visiting every single one of the Formula One tracks. And another little interesting fact is I designed and marketed Happy Meal toys for over 7 years for McDonald's, and I have the entire collection in my loft. So let's move on and let's talk about what the benefits are, what we will be covering today. So our agenda in 45 minutes, which is quite packed, we're going to cover at a very high level the benefits of fundraising, the trends, the frameworks, some fundraising pack ideas, some channels and platforms, checklists, planning tools, and sector resources. What we're going through is by no means complete. It is just a top-line overview for you to take away and to give some thought. So the question is, why hold fundraising events? Well, fundraising events have always been a vital revenue source for all charities. They survived the restrictions of the pandemic and have actually come back stronger, with more than half of charities expecting a rise in income from fundraising events in 2023. The appetite for fundraising events remains high amongst the public. The challenge for charities is maintaining this momentum, making sure fundraisers have tools, information, and impetus to boost their fundraising efforts. In this webinar, we share tips and hints for charities on how to market their fundraising events, from creating partnerships with other organizations to creating outreach packs to help fundraisers reach their targets. We will cover as much as we can, from social media and paid advertising to email marketing and stewardship. So, what are the benefits of running a fundraising event? Let's start by looking at some of the benefits of running this. In the next slide, we explore just 5 of these. Diversifying income streams. During times of economic uncertainty, charities need to constantly think of new ways to generate income and hold engaging and interacting fundraising events in to be able to do just that. During the pandemic, we were able to see that charities became innovative, and they pivoted and successfully innovated by turning to challenge events to support themselves, and with great success, including the Great Ormond Street Hospital charity, who raised considerable amounts with its Walk 62 Miles in March 2022. And who can forget Captain Sir Tom Moore, who walked 100 laps in his garden to celebrate his 100th birthday? The media and public support turned what was a £1 million goal into over £38 million raised for the NHS. One of the other important factors is to engage the community, and fundraising events are a great way of building a community. Fundraising events create a sense of community amongst attendees. People who attend such events often feel like they're part of something larger, and that they may continue to support this cause in the long term. The camaraderie of all the participants in the London Marathon is an example of how individual fundraising has become a collective event. And what about awareness building? Fundraising events are a good opportunity to tell donors more about your cause and encourage them to share their reasons about why they support your charity to people who may not otherwise have come across your cause. Real-life stories are often a good way to engage on a very personal level, and word of mouth remains one of the most powerful tools in fundraising. Your fundraising events and your participants are some and will be your greatest advocates now and in the future. The Donor Insight report from Blackboard found that 46% of donors are motivated to donate to help a friend or a family member fundraise. That is the second biggest motivation after helping those in need. And relationship building fundraising events help charities to connect with existing and potential donors on a personal level. Many of the people participating in your fundraising event may have already established a connection to your charity. Fundraising event participants can often be your most engaged supporters, which is why it is important and vital to consolidate the relationship with a good fundraising experience. Provide support, thank them for their contribution, and demonstrate to them the impact of their support to the cause that they have chosen to support and care about. These interactions and touch points can lead to deeper relationships and more substantial ongoing donations and support in the future. And last but not least on this slide, the word fun in fundraising. Fundraising, as we all know, can be a challenge, not only for the fundraisers, but for those who are fundraising. But fundraising events allow charities to reward their fundraisers and donors and make it fun. It could just be a sense of personal achievement, a medal when you cross that line, a new challenge that you took on, reaching a new community, making contact with long-lost friends, all of those things, or just a singular one. Simply put, fundraising events can often put the fun back into fundraising. However, we do know that with the emergence of virtual challenge events during COVID-19, there has been a mass return to physical events since 2022, and therefore these need to continue to evolve. So, where are we now? 2020 through to 2022 saw the in-person events come to a grinding halt. But as we recover from the trauma of those years, now let's look at some recent fundraising event trends and what they mean now for the sector moving forward. So, the growth of fundraising events. According to the 2023 Charity Pulse report from Donations, Fundraising and Events platform Enthuse, the area charities felt most comfortable about at the start of this year was fundraising events and activities. On average, 53% of charities expected this to grow, and just 12% forecast a drop in income. Medium-sized charities rank highest with 57%, expecting an increase, and the smaller charities did feel slightly less confident, with only 47% expecting growth. So what do donors actually think about fundraising events? According to Blackboard 2023 Donor Insight report, 28% of donors take part in fundraising events. The percentage rises to 34% amongst 18 to 34-year-olds, compared to 17% of donors aged over 55. It's interesting that 2023 mass participation pulse report from the events agency Massive found that in general, participants are wealthier, spend more, and are less concerned about the cost of living than the population as a whole. The report also revealed that 46% of people were planning to do more events in 2023 than in 2022. However, event sustainability is becoming a significant concern for people, and event reputation is more important than the entry price when it comes to considering participation. So, what is it? Physical, virtual, or both? Indeed, looking at a lot of the reports, it seems that the in-person events are back. According to Top 25 report from Massive, which looks at the biggest mass participation events in the charity sector, virtual events took a big hit last year overall, with income falling on average by more than 50%. In-person events, however, saw income grow as a group. Research in 2022 from Enthuse discovered that 54% of people are happy to take part in physical events, compared to just 27% who said the same in 2021. Among the top 25 events in the sector, most virtual events saw the average raised per participant fall, while many in-person events saw this value increase. However, we need to still bear in mind there is a small but significant proportion of participants who are not comfortable in crowds, and therefore in-person events is not something that they are willing to be part of. Many who stopped doing events in 2019 have no plans to get back to previous levels of participation, and the over 65s are the most likely to have stopped events during COVID and potentially will not come back. Hybrid events, therefore, are increasingly popular, improving the accessibility of our fundraising and allowing more people to take part wherever they're from and whatever their needs. One of the key things that people forget is if getting started early makes it easier. Jade Smith, a senior events fundraising manager at Alzheimer's Society, said that the charity's aim at the start of fundraising events is to give participants what they need to make it easy for them to train and fundraise for the event. It is also an opportunity right up front to show how grateful you are for their support and what a difference it will make. Jade ran a very helpful webinar, which we will share in our resources, on how to maximize fundraising through mass events, which she highlighted that the importance of getting started early with fundraising makes a huge difference. The time of signing up and the event day can seem long to participants, but according to Jade Smith, 40% of the marathon and half marathon signups came between 5 and 7 months before the race day. Research shows that those who start fundraising early are likely to raise up to £700 more on average than those who start fundraising 2 months before the marathon. This is a fantastic case study, and it is well worth reading in the resources that we will share with you. So, let's talk about the power of 4. Fundraising events require stewardship. Ideally, we need and want to take our participants from A to B as quickly and as easily as possible, with A being sign up and helping fundraisers to set up, and B being the thank you at the end of the campaign for their participation and for encouraging sign up for the event next year. This also applies to marketing events and encouraging participation, and how we can help our fundraisers and ourselves maximize donations and outreach and make participation as easy as possible for those who have actually chosen to support us. In the following slides, we explore 4 key phases, the power of 4, in creating a framework for event participation, followed by marketing. Right. Based on the success that they enjoyed, the Alzheimer's Society created a framework for their event participation journey. The framework was split into 4 key phases: onboarding, keeping in touch, countdown, and post-event. The charity created this framework by mapping out the 24 weeks prior to the event, that's 6 months, and plotting how a supporter would be feeling about their upcoming challenge at each point. From this, Alzheimer's Society was able to decide what messaging they wanted to deliver at strategic points and what their customers and supporters wanted to know. For example, during the onboarding phase, supporters were feeling very motivated, making it a great time for them to create their fundraising page and get started on their fundraising journey. Alzheimer's Society also provided tools and resources to the participants to help them plan their training in recognition of their needs. Participant fundraising pages also provided a home for all training and fundraising activity before the event and on the day. This enables them to showcase training efforts as well as post updates, images, and videos to demonstrate their fundraising activities. Similarly, the countdown phase is dedicated to pushing the supporters' fundraising efforts, with the charity tailoring their messaging towards how much has been raised so far. With 40% of funds being raised for Alzheimer's Society in the month of this event, this stage is absolutely crucial. Post-event engagement, thanking fundraisers and donors and showing them how much and where their donations will make a difference, creates the goodwill and the rewards that will encourage participation and giving moving forward. So, with this journey and stewardship framework in mind, let's look at the 4 stages of marketing the event. Phase 1, pre-event. Pre-event is the biggest and most important stage of marketing your event. You need to design your goals and target audience. Who will be attending? From where? What are their preferences for the events? Do they like sporting events or something more casual? Know who you want to attend, support, or donate to the event, and create a plan that caters to them accordingly. Make sure you set goals for how many attendees you'd like to attract so you can measure their success later. Create a marketing plan on the demographics you've identified earlier. Outline your strategies, channels, and budget. Can you use social media advertising? Can you afford to use social media advertising? What will your preferred social media channels be to meet the right audiences? Assigning roles within your team is crucial, as a well-executed plan requires setting out clear responsibilities and deadlines from the outset. There are tools such as Asana in order to set this plan out visibly for the rest of your team. The pre-event stage is also a good time to create your promotional materials, such as banners, social media graphics, email signatures, and more. Share these with your fundraisers so that they can share them with their networks. The material should clearly convey the event's purpose, the date, the location, and other key information. Tools such as Canva can be really helpful here to making the graphics look more beautiful, quickly, and more easily. Consider where your event will be promoted and what happens. Is there a dedicated sign-up page for your website? Are the next steps clear enough for participants? For example, our upcoming digital fundraising summit has a page on our website, but is delivered through a platform called Hubelo. People who sign up receive an email with details on how to log on and more information. There's more info on ticketing and event platforms later in this presentation. And most importantly, and number 4, is identify potential partnerships. Collaborate with local businesses or organizations to cross-promote the event. Partnerships can expand your reach and credibility. Phase 2, all about the promotion. Now that you've got a plan in place, it's time to promote your event and bring people on board. This phase is most liable to change, and tactics may need to be adapted throughout. So flexibility in this phase is crucial. Build and segment your email list to send personal invitations and reminders to potential attendees. Use emails to send event updates and information. It can be a great opportunity to raise more awareness for your cause. Use teaser content, behind-the-scenes glimpses, countdowns to maintain excitement leading up to the event. Encourage attendees to share their anticipation on social media. This will engage your supporters with the content and the community. For running events, example, some platforms now allow you to embed running apps to show your training progress, which is a great way of building a community. Likewise, some charities have been known to launch leaderboards as a way of developing a sense of healthy competition amongst the participants. Point 3, share fundraising experiences. As people continue to sign up to your fundraising page, now is the time to share with them your goals and the fundraising packs. Encourage them to tell their story to everybody and give them hints and tips on how to boost their donations amongst their friends and family. Make sure that you support them right through this phase, and as this onboarding process is key. Partner with other like-minded charity bodies to cross-promote via socials or newsletters. It says what it does on the tin. You might also want to consider early bird promotions to incentivize early registration, and this may create a sense of urgency or exclusivity around the event. Invest in online advertising such as Google ads, Facebook ads, or social media promotion to reach a wider audience. Target your ads to define demographic to ensure that your money is spent wisely. And remember, you don't have to break the bank to use paid ads. Google Ad Grants, which is a free $10,000 a month opportunity, is worth looking into as they provide free advertising to eligible charities. Phase 3, during the event. Marketing does not stop once the event is on. One of the key mistakes is there's a massive lead up and then everything becomes very plateaued. Continuously update your social media profiles with live posts, images, and videos from the event. Encourage attendees to share their experiences using a designated hashtag, and ensure that you have the @ symbol to encourage event participation and who they are talking to. Keep attendees engaged by organizing contests, games, or interactive activities that are related to the cause. This can make the event even more memorable and increase post-event sharing. Have a system in place for collecting contact information from attendees before and during the event, which can be and should be used for post-event follow-ups, future communications, and a thank you. Which leads us on to the post-event, phase 4. The event might be over, but the race is on to keep fundraisers engaged so that they might sign up for the next one. It's also important at this stage to show fundraisers how much their support has meant. Say thank you. Emails or letters to attendees, sponsors, and volunteers. Show appreciation for their support and participation. If possible, make them bespoke so that the people who are receiving it feel special, as they have put their guts into raising money for your charity. Continue to promote the event by sharing highlights, photos, and videos on your website and social media. This continues to maintain the momentum and encourage those who missed it to participate next time and continue to donate in the long tail. Analyze the data collected during the event and assess the success of your marketing events. Use this information to improve for future events. ROAS, return on advertising spend, is a very good way to calculate your overheads and your return on your investment and the lifetime value of your supporters. Do surveys and gather feedback from attendees and supporters to identify strengths and areas for improvement. This information can guide your marketing strategy for future events. And at the final stage, it's really important to share the impact of the money raised. Where will it go and who will it help? That is why fundraising events exist, and that is why supporters are motivated to attend your events and to also raise money for you. Right, maximizing fundraising. The top 3 things to help participants maximize their fundraising are 49% want to know and want information on how the money will be used. 48% are offering fundraising ideas, and 39% will take part in a big name mass event. Fundraising packs. The best way to do all of these and attract all of these and talk to people is pulling together a fundraising pack. Think about the specific needs of your supporters and the goals of your event. It is also really important that the pack is accessible for all participants. PDFs, for example, often aren't accessible for people using screen readers, so ensure that the fundraising information is available in multiple formats, such as Word docs or web pages. And when designing, make sure that your color breaks work. White out of a black background when the type is small is very difficult to read. So, what should you include in your fundraising pack? There are 12 areas that we're going to explore. The introduction should set out the purpose of the event, the cause that you're raising money for, and how the money raised will help. It is an opportunity to raise awareness of your charity and thank participants for signing up. In the event details, make sure the event details are clearly visible, including the date, the time, the location, the agenda, sponsors, etc. Provide fundraising ideas, tips, and strategies to help participants meet their goals in point 3, fundraising advice. Include guidance on how to set up their personal fundraising page, use social media, and attract more donors. Not everybody is computer or IT literate. Fundraising materials such as templates for fundraising emails, social media posts, thank you message, and even sample scripts for in-person fundraising pitches are important. You should share graphics and images for participants to use on their fundraising pages or as posters. The more information that you share with them, the easier you make it for them to share, the more that they will engage. Event logistics, including detailed information about registration, check-in procedures, parking, and any event-specific logics is important. You can add contact information here for the event support. A fundraising schedule or timeline that outlines important dates and deadlines related to the event and fundraising effort gives people and enables them to track where they are in their journey. Instructions on how to collect and submit donations, including details of online fundraising platforms, cash, checks, or other payment methods. Point 8, recognition or rewards for top fundraisers or participants who meet certain fundraising milestones. Point 9, real-life stories, testimonials, or case studies that illustrate the positive impact of fundraising events. It is important to make sure that legal compliance and information such as regulations, tax-related considerations, guidelines for transparent fundraising practices, and any and all disclaimers are required by law are outlined in your fundraising pack. Frequently asked questions. Anticipate the common questions that participants may have and provide clear answers. You can use this as an opportunity to then summarize previously shared information. And last but not least, appendices. Include any additional materials, forms, or documents that may be relevant to the event, such as maps, volunteer information, or waivers. Artificial intelligence, or AI, to help fundraisers create compelling social media points or updates on their giving page, such as Give and Gain, are beginning to use and build this functionality into their offering already. But a word of warning, generative AI is still quite a recent phenomenon and is liable to provide inaccurate information. Charity Digital has a great webinar on the ethics and implications of AI and how charities can use it, and we'll link this to the resources in this presentation and following this session. It is important to choose the right channels for your marketing and your event marketing. Thinking about your audiences and how they generally prefer to be contacted. Younger demographics, for example, may be more reachable on social media platforms such as TikTok or Instagram. You don't have to choose every channel to promote your event. It is best to choose one or two of the most effective channels for reaching the specific audience you want to target, as opposed to spreading your time and resources too thinly across multiple platforms. Our next slides provide some key considerations that charities should take into account when choosing the right marketing channels. Prioritize your supporter needs. The easier it is for people to sign up and donate, the more funds your event will raise. Of course, every event attendee is different and will have different needs. Charities should try and look out and map out all the different demographics that they expect to attend the event and how they can best reach them. Charities can do this by creating user personas, which help develop supporter journeys that are tailored to different demographics and supporter profiles. There are lots of persona templates online, including Miro and Hootsuite. Email. Email remains a great channel for fundraising and results in 1/3 of online fundraising revenue. It results in high engagement and is a great way of communicating updates, the purposes behind the event, telling the story, adding videos, and encouraging more signups. Organizations are 6 times more likely to get a click-through from an email than they are from X. But as always, avoid spamming your recipients. This is where your user journeys and personas come in, so you can tailor communications as and when they want to hear from you. For example, some immediately want to hear after they've signed up, some don't. More than 3/4 of marketeers have seen an increase in mail engagement over the last 12 months, according to HubSpot, while subscriber segmentation is seen as the most effective email marketing campaign strategy. It is also worth creating an email calendar to track when emails are going out and about your event. Mark them as acquisition, engagement, and retention to ensure that your team has visibility and understands roles and responsibilities within each of these areas. And now, evaluate social media. Social media marketing can have mixed results at times, but it is still a vital tool for getting the word out there about your events. It is an imprecise science, and every charity will have different channels to reach different audiences. But there are basics that charities can consolidate when using social media. TikTok is an excellent channel for engaging young donors. The majority of users are aged between 16 and 25. X, formerly known as Twitter, is one of the few text-based platforms remaining and holds values for charities in sharing information online in a quick and succinct manner. More than 50 million people are active on Facebook, making it an excellent place to build communities. Facebook's fundraising capabilities in particular are worth looking at when running an event. Facebook challenges are simple because everything happens all in one place on the platform, from signing up to ads to creating fundraising pages, and an automatic group for participants to build an event community. So if you want to build a virtual event within a social media platform, Facebook could be for you. Now let's talk about event platforms. Digital event platforms mean that charities can automate many of the processes involved in running a fundraising or awareness event at little or no cost, ensuring that every penny possible goes to the cause. The most effective platforms can help with ticketing, marketing, tracking bookings, managing payments, and donations, as well as giving out essential information about the day and more. In the following slides, we've picked some of the best online event platforms for charities, but it's important that you do your own research and choose the right platform for your charity. So looking at event platforms, the most well-known of the 5, great for charities wanting to capture the mass market, is Eventbrite. It is aimed at those generally browsing for things to do, and the platform advertises events in a calendar and map format, allowing guests to search by event type, city, or date. Charity Teams can put up event listing pages specifically for the event with photos, built-in payment widgets, visitor analytics, and ticketing, which can be managed directly from the site and an organizer app. For charities without event organizing experience, this platform also offers equipment rentals, staffing, and dedicated relationship managers for the event. It is a one-stop shop. An event is free for organizers if you're not charging for tickets. Otherwise, it offers a three-tier pricing package. For charities on a budget, the suite charges less than 50p a ticket, and this includes tickets, the availability to sell tickets directly through Facebook. One of the other lesser-known platforms is Igloo. These help charities create customized an event website and registration page. The platform allows charities to personalize the data collection process, allowing organizers to gather all the necessary information. The company says it helps charities effortlessly automate most processes and includes the creation of multi-page event website, attendee management, payment processing, badge printing, invoice generation, and on-site quick check-in. For charities, the Light subscription includes unlimited free events, unlimited users, e-ticketing, and a variety of pricing options for payment customers. On our charity digital exchange, eligible charities can access the Light subscription plan for 12 months for £40, which is a substantial saving of the retail or on-market price. Yapsody is for charities with a hands-on approach. Their event ticketing system supports major occasions, and the ticket store's look and feel can be customized to meet your charity's identity. With emphasis being on the ability to sell tickets fast, the platform comes with lots of features for marketing and promoting tickets effectively, including SEO help so that you get found online. Charities can also run events with different ticketing pricing for structures and discount codes. This is one of the most cost-effective platforms available, and Yapsody does not charge any fees for the first 50 tickets. Nonprofits can benefit from a flat 50% rebate, and no fees apply for free non-ticketed events hosted by nonprofits. Ticket Tailor. This is the last that we will be highlighting on this page. Ticket Tailor puts the focus on managing ticketing. Charities can manage multiple events, and tickets can be tiered accordingly. Ticket Tailor can be integrated as well into Facebook, so they can be found on social media. Organizers can also integrate the ticketing system onto the existing WordPress website and content manager. Ticketing pricing is flexible on Ticket Tailor, and charities get a 20% discount, and monthly pricing plans start at £19 per month. Right. We're now going to look at virtual events because, as we said, there's still the hybrid opportunity. There is in-person and still online virtual events. Virtual events platforms incorporate a variety of tools to plan, promote, and execute online events. They can also be used in conjunction with offline events. These products are designed to help businesses deliver the same feel and value of in-person events through interactive digital experiences. Examples include Hubalo, which has Q&A sessions, polls, video sessions, and discussions, and is a comprehensive suite of engagement tools for participants to connect with speakers, including breakout and engagement rooms. Virtual brews and direct chat to participants is like having your own stand in an in-person event. As was mentioned earlier in the presentation, our digital fundraising charity digital fundraising summit in November is using this platform to drive all our communications, our marketing, and the management of the sessions over the 2 days. Zoom. Zoom streams to third-party platforms, embeds videos into a web page, and can send a single link to your attendees. Everybody knows about Zoom, but it is not free should you go beyond a certain amount or you want additional features. The Zoom discount program is available through Charity Digital for a 50% discount for all eligible charities. Now, you need to get to finalizing your plan. We've spoken about the marketing, we've spoken about the stewardship, we've spoken about the platforms, we've spoken about engagement. Now we need to get to finalizing your plan. And the best way to do this is to pull together an event marketing checklist. Create a checklist to ensure that everything has the highest potential of going to plan. We understand that events often require adaptability and agility, but having a checklist ensures that we get the fundamentals right, which means that moving forward is much easier and far more structured. So there are 8 points that we're going to look at here. Point 1, setting out your goals. Set specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timed goals, SMART, for your event, such as the number of attendees, lead generation, or revenue targets. This will help you identify whether your strategies are working, so you can adapt them as and when they are not. Choosing the right tools. Work out what resources you need to be able to deliver your event, such as channels, platforms, content, outreach, peer-to-peer, social media. Start early. Start marketing your event as early as possible to not only build anticipation, but to get people engaged. Use a mix of channels, including email marketing, social media, and partnerships to reach your target audience. Support your users. Make sure that the registration process is as simple as possible with an easy-to-navigate registration page and clear instructions. Collect essential attendee information whilst keeping it concise. And provide technical support where necessary. A chat box is often a good idea to have when people are signing up, because you can then interact directly while you're keeping them engaged and registering. Stay in touch with your attendees. Keep your supporters engaged with milestones and content that reminds them of why they're participating. Use this as an opportunity to raise awareness of your cause and demonstrate the fundraising impact as you go along. Post-event engagement. Continue engagement after the event by sharing recordings, presentation materials, and follow-up content to provide additional value to attendees. And last but not least, analyze results and gather feedback. Collecting feedback through surveys and post-evaluation measures your success against your goals from the start, and this enables you to move forward with a clear plan and understand what worked and what didn't work, so you can improve future events. Planning tools. It is important that, especially if you are a smaller charity, you have planning tools. There are various planning tools that are available. Social media scheduling, e.g. Hootsuite. This can save you time and enables you to save time and plan your posts in advance to promote and share updates for your event. Project management, Asana, comes with a lot of templates for building a marketing strategy that can help during the pre-event planning stages. Event retention, tools such as Add Event, which we use internally, allow people who sign up to events to add the event to their calendars, whatever calendar service they use. You can include a button or sign-up page or links within a thank you email. But what this does is also increase the retention of your attendees. Remember, particularly if your event is free, the number of signups do not necessarily match the number of attendees on the day. Reminders of the event, staying in touch, and keeping attendees engaged is really important throughout the marketing process. Every little bit helps. Resources from the sector. This slide shows you that we're sharing with you a couple of resources that will enable you to give you a background of how other charities have successfully pulled together either checklists, fundraising, hints and tips. So Charity Cancer Walk the Walk is a really great checklist that charities and fundraisers alike can make use of when formulating their marketing plan. We'll link it to our resources in our post session. Alzheimer's Society webinar. This is what I referred to earlier, how charities can maximize their fundraising through mass events and how time makes a huge difference. Oxfam, tips for promoting your event. Charity Excellence, event advice. Charity Digital webinar, how to organize an event. Eventbrite, 7 ways to promote your charity event. And charity, it's actually Charity Digital, AI for content, data, plagiarism, and other ethics. We have a post which will guide you through the use of AI. So as we come to the end, in summary, there are key points. Plan the journey. Continue with your marketing. Share fundraising packs. Look at platforms and channels that suit you. You don't have to spend a fortune in order to get a result. Have a checklist. Prioritize what is on your checklist. Tick it off as you go along. Use planning tools, some of which are free, to help you, especially if you're a smaller charity, to manage the multiple strands that are all happening at the same time. And review sector resources. Borrow with pride. Look at those who have done this successfully and see how you can adapt that to your fundraising opportunities. Thank you very much for your time. Do you have any questions?
Hello again. Thank you so much for that, Ruth. That was a really great presentation. And yeah, we've had a few questions come into the Q&A section already. So I'll be addressing these now from the most upvoted to the least upvoted. So everybody can feel free to go and upvote the questions now, or even add in some extra questions which you may have. So starting off, the first question is, how can I find partners for my events, such as influencers, local orgs?
Okay, that's a very good question. First of all, if you create communities on platforms such as Facebook, which we alluded to in the beginning, people who have like-minded interests, people who are interested and who share the same base as you, will be more, will really want to engage with you and promote your message. Hashtagging well-known, pick up hashtags from other charities who are doing similar things. This will also expose you to a greater audience who are also using that. If you have partners or partnership partners in other charities who are raising for the like-minded events, see if you can get an opportunity to promote via their newsletters, via their social media posts. Piggyback on them and offer reciprocity when they come to need you to promote an event, so that you're working together for the greater good. Use their databases, which you obviously cannot get access to, but can be used through other like-minded partners. There are various places like Give and Gain, who are very much involved in the charity sector, are looking to promote causes. They are single-minded about the greater good, so they do not feel that they have to segment or not deal with other charities because there's a conflict. So looking for people like that is a good idea. Also, go on to Facebook, go on to LinkedIn, talk to people, put posts there, indicate what you're doing, do polls, ask people who they would like to participate, and make sure you respond to them when they do show that they have an interest.
Yeah, no, those are great advice. Thank you so much. I know that our marketing partnerships have worked really well for our upcoming event, the Digital Fundraising Summit. And another tip I recommend is, if you do find these partners and you're working with them towards an event, to always use bit.ly links, because then you can really track like how much marketing how many signups you're actually getting through that particular partner, and see who you work best with. So moving on to the next question. Do you have any best practices for segmenting event pages with a section dedicated to special events and another one for challenge events? For example, how can our audience understand the difference between the events?
That's a very good question. It's a very good question. I think clarity of message and communication is always very important. If you're putting it on a website, I would always recommend that you have a menu at the top that very clearly identifies what the event or who you are talking to. That will then enable people to navigate immediately to where they need to go. So, for example, with the digital fundraising summit that we're doing, it is very clearly designated at the top what the agenda is, where you need to go to do certain things, where you need to sign up, and what the participants or the speakers in our event, all the topics, so people can see at a glance from a menu navigation the best way to do it. People often don't know who they are or what they are until you actually, or what they want to do, until you actually give them the opportunity to review. If it's all bunched together in a big block of copy, people don't read. It needs to be very succinct, bulleted, and often color is a way of doing that. If you want, I can talk to my content team and see if they're commissioned an article or look into this and potentially see if we have anything available and share it in the resources when we put out our webinar. Very good question. Thank you very much for asking.
That sounds great. Yeah, we'll definitely make sure to see what we can include in the resources. So the next question is, should my marketing strategy be different for a virtual event versus an in-person event?
Very interesting. Again, as Kiara will know, as she is our event coordinator, we're actually doing a virtual and we're looking to do an in-person event as well. I don't think the marketing principles are not different, but the way that you actually market to people are. If people are coming to a virtual event, there's more propensity to be engaged virtually because they know they're in that genre, their head is in that space. To be perfectly honest, doing a virtual event is actually slightly more complicated than doing an in-person event. We have found that because of the multiple strands that are going on and all the various elements. However, Hubelo makes it very easy for you to track, communicate, and market. An in-person event comes with its own advantages and foibles. The advantages are that obviously it's face-to-face and it's dynamic. And people like talking face-to-face, and it's a moving feast. When you do virtual events, whilst you are speaking to an audience, it's almost on a one-to-one rather than a group event. But I would say that the principles of marketing are exactly the same. Those 4 areas and how you market and who you talk to is important. I don't think there is a difference. I just think the methodology and the communication and how you say it and how you present it is important. What I wouldn't do is negate doing socials or virtual communication because you're having an in-person event.
Yeah. No, I would definitely agree with all of that. Thank you. The next question asks, how do we target the less digitally inclined, i.e. people who don't even have an email address?
That's interesting. From my experience, there are various ways. You can buy data. You can actually buy data if you wish. There are people who provide data. You need to make sure that whoever does provide the data is GDPR approved. What it basically means that people have opted in to receive information from a third party, and there are companies who manage all of that. If you go onto Google and you talk about and you look at buying data, there are very many companies that can offer you that opportunity. Again, be careful who you go to and that they are GDPR compliant. One thing to be aware of when you do something like that, it'll cost you per name, per address. Sometimes you will just get a physical address. You can also get a telephone number. You can also get an email address, provided that's been ticked off by the person. However, for every extra element you need, you pay more. So again, you need to bear that in mind when you're a charity and you've got your overheads versus your income, because the money's got to come from somewhere. In terms of people are not having an email address, again, I would do social media. Ask people to sign up from social media and then drive them to a page where you can say things like, would you like to know more information about my cause? And in order to do that, they need to give you an email address. Look, there are bots that are going to jump in on that, so be very mindful of that. But buying data, using social media, you can also go into placing adverts in the local press, and again, drive them somewhere where you can get an email address. It needs to be as quick and as simple as possible. So if you're going to do that, you need to explain why you're doing that and give them the opportunity to opt out of any other future marketing that you may or may not put out, because people are worried about being spammed and having so much sent to them that often they do not want to give out their email address because they do not want to be on everybody's hit list. I'm sure that there are very many other ways of doing this. I mean, I think it's something we can look at as well. Segmentation.
Definitely. I think it'd be really interesting.
Who do not have email addresses, or how do you get in touch with them if you're going to do an email campaign? So again, I think that is something I'd like to put to our content team and see what we have or what we can commission, because that's a very, very interesting. Everybody thinks digital, everybody thinks social, but you've got to have people to be able to talk to. And how do you get to talk to those people?
Yeah, to reach the people who may not even be on social media, for instance. That's great, thank you. So the next question asks, how do I make my event stand out from the crowd?
Stories.
I think it's something we'd all like to know, really. So yeah, what are your insights, Ruth?
Yes, for me, it's all about an emotional trigger. It's and especially when it comes to charities, because charities raise money for people in need, whether it's an illness or whether it's homelessness, whether it's what's happening globally, pandemics, wars, floods, earthquakes. It's all about telling stories, and it's almost like the more emotional the story is, and it could be me, the more people will relate to that. In my previous role at a charity, every single campaign we did, we spoke to people who had benefited from receiving funds so that their stories were authentic. It needs to be authentic. People will smell that it's not authentic a mile off. And once you've destroyed your credibility, social media will blow up. So for me, again, telling stories, they need to be authentic. Consider direct mail. I know we're talking a lot about socials, but if you do have people's addresses, you can get preferential rates from the Royal Mail for charities and for promotional, it's non-advertising opportunities. And when people have a piece of paper in front of them, they will look at it, they might put it to the side, but they'll come back to it. And it's like reading a book for them. It's a story. It's not a 1 minute in your face. You come back to it. So I would think of different channels as well for standout. Most people don't receive mail today. So when they do receive mail, they get quite excited.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So videos, again, videos, stories, anything to do with heart, and that how it has helped people. The radio campaign that's running with Help a Charity across the whole Heart network, the whole Heart LVC network. Every single pod that they do is a person who has benefited from others raising money.
Yeah. Actually, interesting you mentioned video. At our most recent in-person event, the Be More Digital Conference 2022, we had a speaker, John Mowat, who is the founder of a video marketing agency called Hurricane, and he had a very interesting presentation about the power of video and, as you said, like using these really heartfelt stories. And yeah, so I think that that's one that people should definitely check out if they are interested in creating videos to market their events is Hurricane.
Absolutely. And I think one of the other things is, and I don't know if you've seen, there's been a propensity, especially when there's been global pandemics or global things, where many charities have banded together because the greater power in order to raise funds. So, for example, the DEC is where they bring various charities together to raise funds towards a big goal, because sometimes people feel that a smaller charity can't really raise enough and do enough. But when you come together with other like-minded, people feel that the greater good and the greater collective. So that's also something to have a look at. When you're raising money, it's putting aside certain things and working towards an end goal, which is to benefit those who are in need.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's great. Thank you, Ruth. Now we have time for just one last question, stating, where can I find more information on content to include in fundraising packs?
If you have a look in our resources, there is a link on the last slide, which we can share with you, which talks about what needs to be in a pack. And I think that one of those talks about specifically a list that you can have a look at. The other thing is Google is always a great opportunity to go and have a look. And dare I say it, ChatGPT. Put the question into ChatGPT. Say what needs to be included on my checklist, my event checklist. I'm doing this kind of event. Give as much information, ask the question. But as again, I said, be very mindful of what comes back.
Definitely.
But from that point of view, I would use every Google, ChatGPT, and the resource that we have highlighted at the end of our presentation.
Yeah. And not to, sound like a broken record, but at our Digital Fundraising Summit.
I'm sorry. I'm your marketing person. My bad. Right. On the 1st and 2nd of November, Charity Digital is having a 2-day summit on the future of fundraising. We have fantastic speakers who will be exploring not only AI and the use of AI, but engaging Gen Z, talking about how digital transformation definitely helps charities to fundraise. This is across various sessions and workshops, and I encourage you to go and register charitydigital.org.uk, and if you go to
we put the link in the chat.
There's thank you, Chiara. She's put the link in the chat. It's a fabulous opportunity. You will also learn a lot more about what we've spoken about from people who are actually at the coalface. So we have charities, we do have big charities talking, we have CAF talking, we have fundraisers talking. So it's well worth signing up to that and attending our sessions and the workshops. We look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, that's great. And unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much, Ruth, for joining us, and to everyone who has put links and put questions in the Q&A section and any links in the chat as well. If you could all share your feedback with us, that would be fantastic. I have pasted a link in the chat, and you will also receive a prompt just after you leave this page. And finally, our next webinar is in just 2 weeks' time on the 9th of November with the Wildlife Trusts on charities, tech and the climate. And we still have more in the pipeline, so make sure you keep an eye out on our website for anything coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
And last but not least, you will get the on-demand recording of this webinar. So you can look at it and look at the slides and take any links and tips from that within the next week. Thank you very much, Chiara. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed this. And please do reach out to us if there's anything we can do. Our charity exchange offers most of the products that we spoke about at fantastic rates for charities, and well worth taking us up. Have a lovely day, and thank you for joining us.